Hello, and welcome to the Iron Sea Awareness Act, or ISAA. This tape is designed to inform you about the Iron Sea and the dangers it poses to humanity. But first, what exactly is the Iron Sea? For starters, the Iron Sea is not located on Earth, or so we think. In the Pacific Ocean lies an exclusion zone of about 10 kilometers in diameter. In 1937, a small fishing vessel went missing in the exclusion zone, and tales spread like wildfire around the world of this mysterious area. For the next 30 years, this zone would remain a mystery until 1967, when the UN would send a scientist by the name of Edward Gluffman to investigate. His research vessel was never found. Although Gluffman's disappearance was a shock to the UN, and a warning to many other scientists, that would not stop them. The opportunity to be the first person to discover what exactly was in the Iron Sea amazed and shocked people. It would be another 7 years until the Iron Sea would be revealed to the world. In 1974, the UN sent another scientist by the name of Elliot Maddington to investigate the exclusion zone and to possibly find Edward Gluffman. While Maddington did not find Gluffman or his research vessel, he did snap the first photo ever taken in the Iron Sea. Elliot would describe the Iron Sea as an infinite expanse of ocean and cloud coverage scrawling across the sky. So far, there are 4 nations involved in the Iron Sea who are sending research teams actively to investigate. These nations are the United States, the United Kingdoms, Italy, and the USSR. Over the next several tapes, we will be discussing the interesting life forms that can be found inside the Iron Sea and the dangers they pose to humanity. While it is almost impossible to escape the Iron Sea for humans without special protection and precautions, these creatures have been found leaking out into society, on beaches, in forests, and many other countries that border the Pacific Ocean and Oceania regions. Another threat that the Iron Sea poses is the fact that it has been growing exponentially in the last 10 years. In 1975, scientists have discovered that the Iron Sea's exclusion zone has been expanding. Buoy markers set around the Iron Sea exclusion zone have started to disappear as it grows. These tapes are a way of combating against the Iron Sea, as its exclusion zone could expand and the creatures within it could leak out into the world much faster and more often. This segues us to our first creature and most common entity within the Iron Sea, primordial ooze. Within the Iron Sea's bounds, its seabed fits the needs of the life form that inhabits it. If humans are to enter the Iron Sea, they can stand up with little worry of drowning. The primordial ooze would shape to their needs, and they would be able to stand with little fear of drowning. This ooze, which can be found leaking out from the Iron Sea, resembles oil. However, it is much thicker and can reach farther depths, touching and infecting the seabed. While this ooze may appear harmless, it is very deadly if exposed to for very long periods of time. The primordial ooze is the center of where all creatures from the Iron Sea originate. While we still do not know why, the working theory of many scientists is that these creatures grow from the ooze like plants. It shapes their bodies as it collects nutrients from the water, from bacteria, and from other organisms that enter the sea. When the ooze is found on coastlines, it can resemble large quantities of seaweed washing up on the coast. It is advised never to touch the ooze, as it can infect one with various ailments including nausea, vomiting, dizziness, fatigue, and brain rot. first tape about the Iron Sea. Over the next several tapes, we will be discussing the different entities within the Iron Sea and how to combat against them, as well as in-depth guides on their description, their biology, and where to find them. So remember, stay safe, stay vigilant, and report any sightings of Iron Sea creatures that you may find in your local residence to the authorities. This has been the Iron Sea Awareness Act.